Well, hi everyone. Hope you're all keeping well. I'm finally back in the land of the living, just about. As you know, we had a week of festivals last week. Um, in all fairness, the drawback probably hasn't been as kind as I wish it had been. Um, Still lots to report on. Did have a good week, and also I said I wasn't doing any qualifiers this year. I actually dropped in on the Golden Reel yesterday at Decoy, and lo and behold, I've got a place in the Golden Reel final next week. Um, so I'll get reports done on all those videos, on all those matches, which there's loads that, even though some of them weren't as good as I hoped, there's so much to say about them all. Really, really interesting matches, I think. So I will get all of those done in a few minutes. I'll get a separate report on each event done. But what this one's going to be about, I thought it was quite an interesting one. Someone messaged me the other day how tactics are going to change moving into September because it's starting to get a bit cooler. And I think, well, I know from now on, I will at the start of each month get a video done about what I think, how the fishing is going to change each month and the tactics that I think are going to be the best each month. I think that'd be really interesting. So we'll start with September. The fishing, September in all honesty is probably my favourite month for fishing. The weather is getting cooler, the nights are definitely cooler now, but the fish are still feeding. They're definitely feeding. You often find the F1s might go a little bit slightly funny. I haven't been doing a lot of F1 fishing this summer, I'll be honest. But yeah, the F1 venues can go a bit iffy. There's still lots of fish to catch, but you're going to be fishing in slightly deeper water, whereas you're fishing mud lines like 2 and 3 foot is now going to be best. Pellets become really good this time of year, just chasing fish around. Carp wise, they are still feeding really well. The big fish, you often find you catch a lot of big fish throughout September, where they're starting to feed up ready for the winter. You haven't generally, because it's not boiling hot days, the dobbing and that sort of stuff goes out of it, so it is feeding. Again, pellets can be really good now, whereas like maggots and casters have been the way forward. Baits like pellets, meat can be really good again this time of year. Again, where they're like in the spring, where they're just stocking up with protein ready for the winter. You often find there's some massive weights of carp this time of year, but again, it's just slightly deeper water. Ideally, they will come in the edge if there's still colour in the water, but a bit later in the day, it's not as manic generally. You're generally looking for like 2 or 3 foot of water, but let's say pellets and meat are definitely really good this time of year. Again, if you feeder fishing, just chucking that bit, if you're chucking tight to an island, just that bit further away, if it's really shallow by the island, can be good now. Still positive, still fishing deep, like proper gear, not scaling down. With F1s, now is the sort of time where we would just scale down a touch, like 012 bottoms instead of 014, that sort of stuff. The fish definitely aren't fighting quite as hard on a lot of venues, I've noticed. Like Rookery last week, on Raven when I was on there, where I've been using the 14 to 16 slick all summer, it definitely felt a bit heavy. Just scaling down the grade, they're not fighting quite as hard. That is September in honesty. It can be the best time for big weights because they're not just cruising around. It's a bit cooler, the water's still warm, they are feeding. So that is September covered. I think it is a great month, my favourite month for fishing, because they are feeding all day. You've got to think about it, not feeding quite as heavy, just to changing your depth slightly, but they're definitely still feeding. They're not just cruising around because it's spoiling hot. Great month for fishing. So get out there, enjoy some matches. Personally for me, September was going to be not a lot of matches because I've got loads of coaching. It's mine and my wife's birthday the last week of the month, so that was a no fishing weekend anyway. as I say, Golden Reel finals next weekend now, so everything has changed. I'm going to be spending a lot of time at Larford in the next 2 weeks, getting as much practice in as I can. I can only fish one match there on Sunday. It's the last Open I can fish, but I'm getting up there for some practice sessions, just learning about the venue next week. And then hopefully next Saturday there'll be something really, really good to report on. Can't wait for it, in all honesty. The sort of venue that does suit the fishing I've been doing, so it should be alright. Right, but yeah, like I say, get out and enjoy your September. I'm now going to do some match reports for the 3 festivals and the Golden Reel. See you in a minute.